Hello and well, Cheshire Audio. Now, what we're going to do today, back onto the new product reviews. I think I've quite enjoyed doing the retro reviews. There are going to be quite a lot more of those. I've probably got far more ideas than is sensible really on that side. But I thought I'd go back to a new product review. This has been out for quite a while actually. This is the Rega Aria Phonostage. Now, I wouldn't say ignored it. I didn't totally take this seriously when it came out. I thought, this is a manufacturer producing a Phonostage to sort of fill the range, and normally manufacturers who make electronics, make amplifiers or whatever, it's not often that they are any good at making Phonostages. It is a bit of a cliche, and people have heard me say this before, that Phonostages are a bit of a black art. They're very specific requirements, and it's sort of, even though you would have thought it's the same as making an amplifier, it is almost a different skill to making a Phonostage. So there's very few companies who are actually very good at it. So as I had a good range of Phonostages, from like Trichord and Trilogy and Tom Evans that we had the other day, Rothwell, Lehman, I thought, I don't really, the Rega, I don't know that I particularly need it in the range. I'm sure it's very good, but it's not going to really compete against, the big boys at this level, because they're, particularly the Tom Evans and this sort of thing. They're designed by people who are really focused on and understand keeping noise out of the system, really, which is what it's all about, because it's such a tiny signal from a phono cartridge. They're very susceptible to external noise, and making a circuit which copes with that is actually really difficult. So I ignored it, and then one day a customer said to me, who tried most things, he'd had a few home demos of things and wasn't quite getting what he wanted really. He said, I'm actually quite interested in the Rega, but you don't have it, do you? I said, well, tell you what, I'll order one in. You can take it home, run it in for me, see what you think. And I never got it back. He rings me up with his credit card number, and yeah, I'll have that. That's what I've been looking for all this time. So I thought perhaps it's time to give this a proper look and just see what it's all about. So ordered a demonstrator in, and it's an astonishing Phonostage actually. It's very, very good, and it's up there with a lot of the specialist brands. Certainly, yeah, it's got the clarity, it's got the low noise, it's got everything you could ever want really, and unlike a lot of its competitors, it has got quite a lot of adjustment as well, and I think that is something really in its favour. If you look at things like Trilogy and whatever, they're quite limited on adjustment really. So I'll show you, adjustment wise, I'll show you that. What I'll do is put this onto a side table and reposition the camera, and we'll have a look at what adjustments are on here. But yeah, it's in the same casework as the actual power supply for the Planer 10. Shame they don't do the Brio in this box actually. I sort of wondered why they didn't actually do that, because it's quite an attractive looking box. I'll show you the front panel when I move over there. The only thing I'd say about the Aria is, and I'm struggling already, is it's very difficult to remember what it's called. And the reason for that, if you go into the sort of history of Rega products, they do have a habit of naming things, having tended to have sort of 3 or 4 letter names that begin with either A or E. And looking back, where we've got the Aria, the Anya cartridge, Ella speakers, Alia speakers, EL8 speakers, Illicit amplifier, Elise cartridge, Exact cartridge, Illicit amplifier, didn't I just do that? What else have we got? A whole host of things. I can't remember any more. I'll probably run them along the bottom actually, but there's loads of them, and I find myself, when people are asking about Phonostages, oh yes, and there's the Rega, and I can never remember what it's called. And customers the same, mixing up Anya and Alia, Anya, I'm doing it now, Anya and Aria, and you know, getting the wrong way around. So I start talking about a cartridge when they're in a Phonostage and vice versa. So I mean, I think it's quite cute. I think I quite like the fact that they've got a bit of a theme going on. But it's very confusing. It's really confusing. So yeah, let's have a look at the back panel. I'll move us across here. Have a closer look. Not a lot to see, to be fair. It's a fairly straightforward device, but let's have a closer look and just, you know, so you can have a proper look at it. I'll stop the camera and move across. This isn't tea. It's been one of those days. Move the camera. Yeah, okay, so here it is. This is the Rega Aria. Nice looking box, like I say. It's very similar to the some of the bigger boxes that they do now, and it is, like I say, the same as a P10. Okay, so if you've got a P10 and put this next to the power supply, they're sort of identical to it. Just one more button, I think, on the P10. So we've got the chunky outer sort of casework and the sort of perspex inner, which doesn't seem to get sort of finger marked. It does seem as though it's quite resistant to that, really, partly because you're only touching the button, you're not really sort of touching the panel at all. So we've got on-off switch here, which brings on logo. This is the Mmc Switch, which is on the front, which is unusual. Quite a lot of these things, Phonostages have them on the back actually. So it's showing switch to MC. When you go back, usually there's a bit of a delay. You can hear the relay click. Right, so let's turn it round and we'll show the back panel. I've had to move it across into the window because where we were there wasn't enough light to see the back panel properly. So it's slowly going dark outside. Yeah, okay. So on the right hand side we've got two inputs. We've got the MM input and MC, which having the two together like that means you can actually connect two turntables, one with MM, one with MC, and switch on the front. So which is quite useful. I actually use that quite a lot in the demonstration room. Whether people would use that at home, I don't know. I mean, it might be. There are people out there who have a main turntable and a turntable to play 45s. That's not that unusual. We've actually got an earth on here as well, which, considering Rega turntables don't have an external earth, they have an internal earth, so they don't need that. It's quite handy to have that for other turntables. Output to line, so this will, this is your line output, which will go to your line input on your amplifier. And then we've got a 2-pin IEC, which is compatible with 3-pin IEC. It's just for some reason Rega have been using the 2-pin non-earth version. So that's good. And down here, if you can make it out, I'm not sure how closely this will focus, but we've got all the dip switches here. On the right hand side we've got the gain, so left channel, right channel gain, and the gain we've either got 63.5 dB or 69.3 dB if my eyesight is telling me the truth. Yeah, I think that's right. On the right hand side, the bigger dip switches, the 4-stage dip switches here are covering capacitance and resistance. Resistance we've got 70 ohms, so left and right again, 70 ohms up to 400 ohm, and capacitance is looking like it's looking blurred, to be honest. 1000 picofarad up to 4200 picofarad, so it's fair range. I mean, it covers kind of what you would need, really. And I think on loading resistance, there's not huge differences. I mean, people sort of argue about this, and it's got this spot on, it's got to be this, it's got to be that. It doesn't make a massive difference. Some cartridges are affected more than others, some are affected not at all. So it's one of those things you can sort of experiment with a little bit. Main difference is loading, and I think not loading is the gain. I think that's a useful thing to have on, really. There are some quite decent Phonostages don't have any sort of gain, and you're sort of stuck with what you get. So that's the Aria Mark III. I'll just make the point of saying. I don't think there's huge amounts of difference between Mark II and Mark III. I think it was mainly visual. So anyway, yeah, let's turn the camera around. And so yeah, that's the Aria 3. I mean, there are competitors for it. I mean, I do quite well with the Tom Evans and the Exposure, which is slightly cheaper, but slightly different balance to the Aria. Trichord Dyno with the power supply is a good competitor for it. So there's plenty out there, but I think the Rega is just a very complete package, really. I think it just seems to cover what anybody would want, really, from a Phonostage. So yeah, hope you like this. Don't forget to subscribe and give us a like. Thanks for all the lovely comments that you leave below. You know, much appreciated. And like I say, if you ever want to, you know, give me a ring, just feel free. Just you know, like I say, always here for a chat. If you want to give us a ring, I'll leave it there, and see you in a future video. Thank you.